One of the biggest obstacles in front of the U.S. troops there in Afghanistan is the opium trade. The Taliban is using it to intimidate the population.
Yeah. Joining us from Helmand Province is Geraldo Rivera. Good morning to you, Geraldo. Tell us what you've seen during your days there in Afghanistan.
Hi, Allison, Dave, and Clayton. Yes, in some ways, the Marines' brilliantly executed invasion of Marja, this town in the middle of Helmand Province, was the easy part. The hard part now is governing this province, a province, as you suggest, that has become addicted to opium in many, many ways. That is the principal crop that is being grown here. The Taliban lend the farmers the money. They are indebted to the Taliban. They have to grow the opium. Now the Marines, in their success, are in a sense a victim of their success, because now the population is, they have these opium fields, and we are tolerating it. We are tolerating the cultivation of the opium because we know that if we were to destroy it now, the population would turn against the Marines, and it would be a real security risk. Let me introduce Lieutenant Colonel Brian Christmas. He's the commanding officer of the 3rd Battalion, 6th Marines. Really a wonderful group of Marines here. I know that you care deeply about this contradiction, the fact that here you have one of the best fighting forces in the world ever mounted, and in a sense you're watching as this opium is being grown. I know it grinds at your gut. How do you deal with it? What are you doing about it?
Well, frankly, this is a part of their culture. So while it might grind in my gut, it's what they do. We provide them security, we're providing them resources, and we're providing them alternatives. And the alternatives are different crops to grow. They're getting the seed and the fertilizer to do it. They can rotate any of their crops that they want. If they want to get rid of their wheat and grow cotton for the winter, they can do that, and we're going to help them do it. So the same thing goes for the cotton.
If we secure them having a good harvest, now they're going to get paid for all their hard work, and then we can deal with the trafficking afterwards.
And that is the new U.S. policy. After farmers get paid, try to capture drug traffickers. These troops have confiscated 10,000 pounds of opium before the profit reached the Taliban. One day the U.S. hopes to convince farmers to choose legal crops. Until then, the seeds of the insurgency will continue to grow in these fields.
Our nation's most highly decorated Vietnam veteran, Lieutenant Colonel Bo Brights, will tell you a chilling tale about how the drug trade really works and how even Uncle Sam is probably a drug dealer. Lieutenant Colonel Bo Brights, as the most decorated Green Beret commander in the Vietnam era, 62 citations for valor, 3 silver stars, 8 bronze stars, 2 Purple Hearts, presidential citation are just among those decorations. General William Westmoreland devotes an entire chapter in his memoirs of his life to the life of Colonel Bo Brights. It has been said that Bo Brights is just simply the toughest soldier in the history of America. In a face-to-face meeting with a member of the President's staff, that when you brought up the fact that you were going in to see General Kun Sa, and that he indeed had been shipping and is shipping 1,200 tons of heroin every year into the United States of America, and we had an opportunity to make a deal, we turned it down. Is that right?
That's exactly it, Mort. It was most disturbing to me because we didn't go to see Kun Sa about drugs. We went in cooperation with the White House. Tom Harvey, a would-be Ollie North lookalike, was the NSC staffer that asked us to go. It was to find prisoners of war that reportedly Kun Sa was holding. When we got there, we found out that he had no prisoners, but we couldn't leave without asking him why he insisted on shipping this poison into the world. And Kun Sa said that the U.S. had been his best customer for more than 20 years. Well, I didn't believe it. This was December of 1986. He said that he was willing to stop 900 tons in 1987, and then he said, I will disclose every U.S. government official that I have dealt with in the last 20 years. We brought those videotapes back and gave them to the White House. And 4 days later, we got that response. Tom Harvey called and said, Bo, it's fantastic. You guys are the first Americans ever to go in and come out alive. And I said, Tom, what about the deal to stop 900 tons? That's fantastic. And he said, Bo, there's no interest here in doing that. Kun Sa has 8 million Shan people in an area about 1/3 the landmass of Burma that he's taking care of. The only crop that he is allowed to grow is poppies refined into opium, morphine, and heroin. He wants to legitimize the economy of that Shawn land so he can become a true nation state. And he knows he can't do it if they're dependent on drugs. He offered a deal to stop every ounce of heroin, 900 tons last year, 1,200 tons this year, and divulge U.S. government officials if Reagan would agree to give him a trade mission to the free world where he could start using some of the resources they have there to make other money. If we would send over Peace Corps operators, if we would do just a number of little things to get him economically off of dope and onto a legitimate economy. I've got a letter here that Kuhnstyle wrote to the Justice Department on the 28th of June, 1987, and if I can read just two sentences real quick. It says, during the period 1965 to 75, CIA chief in Laos, Theodore Shackley, was in the drug business. Sandro Travacante acted as his buying and transporting agent, while Richard Armitage handled the financial section with the banks in Australia. And he goes on. Now, Armitage, as we speak, is the Assistant Secretary of Defense for International Security Affairs under Carlucci, who was a Deputy Director of CIA, and of course Bush was Director of CIA.
This is how the scam works, okay? You've got a whole bunch of cartels and narcotics being produced all over the world. You've got the globalists in control of Afghanistan. When they take control in 2001, now it more than quadruples in its production, and it's publicly admitted that our government's cultivating it and shipping it out. It's the same thing out of Southeast Asia and Vietnam. It's the same thing everywhere. It's these private families. It's like Skull and Bones was openly founded by the Russell Trust, which was the British East India branch in the U.S. for all legal laudanum or opium, which is then also used for heroin in America. It was actually these big drug families who went and lobbied to make these drugs illegal in the 20s and 30s because they were losing their monopoly. Other people were importing the drugs legally, so they went lobbied to make it illegal. They controlled the cops. They then would sick them on their competition, and then their legal laudanum goes from $1 a bottle to $100 a bottle, and that was $100 a bottle back in the 20s, folks. So by making their own product illegal and then controlling the black market, they jacked the price up just astronomically. Then cocaine starts getting more popular. Of course, it was in Coca-Cola back at that same time. Then Coke starts getting shipped in and getting popular.